Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly Attack on Titan final season discussion videos. Today we're here to talk all about episode 22, I believe 22, titled Thaw. But before we get into the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, set notifications to all, let all of YouTube know that you're here. And also, here's a gold star! You got a gold star last week for hitting the like goal. And like I said, I was going to take it easier on you this week. Let's try to see if we can get to 150 likes before next week's video. If you do, I shall present you with another gold star. But with that said, let's go ahead and dive right into this, shall we? Let's go. So, I'm not gonna lie, this episode was a lot, and following the Demon Slayer episode, I am a little emotionally drained, shall we say? Between Demon Slayer and Titan, every Sunday just drains me of energy completely. Now, thankfully, both episodes were absolute pure fire, so there's that. And on top of that, too, I'm likely showing her on screen, but MVP of this week, and possibly MVP of the month, is GABI. Which is very funny coming from me. I know a lot of people are probably like, MVP? I thought you didn't like GABI. And I didn't. But again, I feel like the point of GABI at the beginning was you're not supposed to like her, right? Like, you're not really supposed to like GABI at the beginning. You're supposed to maybe kind of sympathize a little bit, but she's not supposed to be, like, your favorite or anything. In fact, you're probably not supposed to like her. Sympathize, of course, but like her, probably not. Not until this moment, right? Like, there's little moments here and there where I started being like, man, GABI's kind of great, right? Like, GABI's, like, finally realized, like, the talk with her and Falco was great, right? Where I'm like, GABI's really starting to learn about who she is and her place in the world, and she's really kind of figuring out that maybe, you know, treating people with respect is good, right? Regardless of where they come from. And it's a lesson I feel as though, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of lessons in Attack on Titan that I feel like the world could use right now, namely war bad. But yeah, the fact that GABI is, like, coming into her own as sort of like a more heroic character is actually kind of great. I'm not gonna lie, I legit cheered so loud when what's her name? Like, Leia or something? I can't, not Leia, what's her name? I can't remember. When, what's her name, like, fell down the stairs, right? And I think it was Nile as well, which, like I'll talk Kaya. It's not Leia, it's Kaya. When Nile in Titan form sort of like is chasing after Kaya, I was thinking like, oh, she's so done, right? Because I was like, she's probably gonna have to like really bolt, or like Niccolo is gonna do something, right? I'm thinking like one of them is gonna do something, and then Kaya, get up, right? And you look, and it's GABI running with the big friggin' gun, and she like hits this thing from far away, and then jumps up and just kaboom! blows Nile's head off, which, like, R.I.P. Nile, that sucks, right? But, like, you know, it'd be like that, right? Like, he's a Titan, I understand, right? But in that case, in this case, I am okay with GABI killing a character that we know, right? GABI really racking up her kill count. But yeah, GABI, like, really going out of her way to defend Kaya, who in turn goes out of her way to say that, like, no, she's with us, right? And Niccolo's just like, yeah, like, I killed the Titan, it was me. Like, when the other Survey Corps members are like, isn't that GABI? Right? They're like, no, it's not. All right, so basically, you know, it doesn't go unrewarded, right? And it's cool to see GABI finally sort of make amends with Kaya. And I'm not gonna lie, I was incredibly emotional when they showed Sasha for like a second, right? Like when she's like, oh, like One-san, like when she's like, she sees her One-san, she sees friggin' Sasha standing there, but it's where GABI is standing, and I'm like, oh, like that made me like, I got very, like, I started crying, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, man, I miss my potato girl, and it kills me, because I know who took her out, right? But the lesson learned is immense, right? Like, if it cost our girl Sasha to get this really great arc with GABI, I don't love that it cost Sasha. In fact, I probably wouldn't have made the trade but I'm glad to have seen it, right? I think Gabi's arc is really great. And, like, I think Sasha would, like, we've said before, Sasha would not want people to attack Gabi. That's not really who Sasha was, you know? So, like, I appreciate that, like, they showed sort of Gabi in a similar light to Sasha. At least that's how Kaya sees her now, which I really appreciated that. I thought that was really great. I know a lot of people are back on the we hate Gabi train, because she nearly killed Eren, but, like, he's fine. You know, come on, cut her some slack. So for me, I'm on the Gabi, like, in Gabi we trust train right now. This was a good enough moment where I'm like, okay, Gabi's pretty great. I don't know if I'm, like, a big Gabi fan just yet, but I am, like, I'm feeling more kind towards Gabi after this week's episode. I thought her saving Kai was big, right? To me, I'm like, okay, that had, like, completed her arc for me, where I'm like, okay, I no longer hate Gabi, and I'm not even like I'm a little bit more positive than just kind of neutral on her. Like, she's not my favorite character or anything, but she's pretty cool, right? So I was like, all right, Gabi's actually, I concede, Gabi is in fact pretty cool. I will say though, she doesn't exactly get what she's looking for, because she goes looking for Falco, and that's not who she finds. She instead finds Armin and Mikasa, and she's like, where's Falco? And Falco, I'm not gonna lie, okay, so I feel of two minds about the Falco thing, right? So on one hand, totally get it, totally understand where Connie is coming from. I understand. He lost his mom was very close to him, and his mom hasn't moved, so he's gone to visit her every little bit for, like, the last 4 years. Like, not every day, not every month, but he tries to go visit as much as he can, like, every so often for the last 4 years. So I get it, you know, I understand, like, so him seeing her and knowing that she's not even really dead, right? That she's just this, like, titan that can't move. That's gotta do a number on Connie's psyche, right? And Connie's been through a lot, and we've seen him go through a lot, you know? Not only has he lost his mom, now he's also lost Sasha, he's lost friends and comrades, found out some friends and comrades were evil, quote-unquote evil, betrayed them, and, you know, it's a lot for him to deal with. So I understand the sort of mental break and the desire to try to save his mom, you know? Like, I get it. But it's a situation where, like, it's tough, right? Because at the same time, even though I get it, and Connie is, like, in my top 5, I love Connie, he's, like, definitely, like, a top 5 favorite for me, it's hard for me to watch him make such a bad decision, right? Because it's like, do you really think your mom would be okay with you sacrificing a small child so that she can come back? Also, like, how did Gabi think about the whole, like, Eren might be able to bring people back and you guys didn't? You know, like, to me, it's like Connie. Like, again, he's not in his right mind, so it's something that I can absolutely forgive. It sucks because, you know, we like Falco and we like Connie, and so it's a weird position to be in where you're like, oh, I like both these characters, but, like, one of them's making a very brash decision that I don't crazy agree with, and yeah, it's a wee bit of a bummer. It is a wee bit of a bummer. I'm assuming that Connie's not gonna go through with it. Like, we do hear that, like, oh, they're, like, we gotta go, like, I can't give up on Falco. I assume, like, Armin and Gabi likely are gonna be the ones who chase after Connie and Falco, but likely Connie's gonna be the one who decides, like, that he can't go through with it. Because do you really want your mom to also be the Jaw Titan? Seems kind of weird, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that super works out, Connie. I'm gonna level with you. And like Armin says, like, sacrificing Falco is only going to cause more problems with Marley. Like, it's not worth it, right? Like, even though, as far as we know, they ain't gonna be around for very much longer. So yeah, it's definitely a tough decision. It's a tough call, and I feel for our boy. So, you know, on that one, I can give him a bit of a pass. But yeah, like I said, Connie's absolutely, like, one of my favorites. It's funny too, because, like, a lot of my favorite characters are either like now making decisions that I don't agree with, or dead, because that's just the point in the show that we're at. But yeah, speaking of dead, is also Niall and Pixis. R.I.P. specifically to Pixis. Like, Niles was cool, but like we didn't know a lot about him. But Pixis was like, that hurt me, man. I was like, no. I thought for some reason in my head that I assumed that they were going to find a way to save him, but like, obviously not, right? Like they're being attacked. Pixis is a pure Titan. He has no control over what he's doing. So like, yeah. And Armin's like, you can rest. Like we wouldn't have been able to get as far as we could without you. You can rest in peace now. Like, oh god, it gave me flashbacks to Erwin, who is my favorite. I was like, oh, just makes me sad. I just, like, Pixis was my boy. I loved Pixis. So that hurt. I was sad to see Pixis go. And like I said, Niall goes as well after saving Falco. Like, both Pixis and Niall have like good moments in the second half of the final season before, you know, departing. So I can't be too upset, but it was definitely emotional. I was definitely really bummed about it. But speaking of characters dying, there's a certain character, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but one of my favorite characters in the whole thing, right? Erwin is my #1, but in my top 5 is Marco. Marco is forever one of my favorite characters. Jean and Marco are my favorite ship in the whole thing. And so a lot of people would assume that my least favorite characters would be most of the Marley characters, because Sasha's another favorite of mine. But that's not the case. Because with GABI, I've come to forgive. Not so much forget, at least not yet. I'm not there yet. But I'm learning to forgive GABI. And with Marco, I have a lot of leeway, because it was Reiner who really made the decision to kill Marco because he found out, right? They were put in a position where, like, Marco suddenly kind of had to die, right? And instead, like, what ends up happening is that it's Annie and Bert are sort of shocked by this. Bert I can't stand, to be fair. Bertolt I've never liked. I've always thought he was a whiny brat. So, like, Bert, whatever, but, like, Annie was, like, not cool with what was happening, and Reiner went into full, like, soldier mode and is pretty much directly responsible for Marco's death. But I give all of them leeway because it was a situation kind of beyond their control, and most of them really didn't want to do it, and Reiner was not even in his right mind when it happened. Like, Reiner was completely broken by it, and Annie didn't want to do it. And so I give Annie a lot of leeway. Why am I talking about Annie? Of course, you know why we're talking about Annie, because Annie's back. So when the hardening stopped, like when the hardening for the walls went away, that meant that not only did the Armored Titan's armor disappear, but that also meant that the crystal holding Annie, yeah, that disappeared too. So, yeah, Annie's back. That's a thing that happened. That was crazy. So, okay, question. Does she know all of the things that were happening outside of the crystal? You know, like, I'm curious about that. Like, not that does she know, but, like, does she recall the conversation with, like, Armin? I don't actually answer that. I'm just, like, when I saw her, I was, like, that's just some of the thoughts going through my head. Of course, don't answer that, because if you're a manga fan, you know, so don't tell me. But I was like, man, like, it's been so long since we last saw Annie. Annie was, like, in season 1, easily one of my favorites. The Annie-Armin, like, dynamic back then I thought was actually really sweet. It's funny because, again, another reason why I don't like Bert is because I'm like, that man gets in the way, except now he doesn't. That man's super dead. So I'm like, cool, right? Like, the Annie-Armin ship can fly, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. I hope so. But yeah, like, I'm very curious on, like, what she'll know, like, if she'll even remember, like, any of the conversations with Armin over the last few years, or if she knows what's been happening to her while she, or outside, or if what has been happening in the world outside of the crystal somehow. I kind of don't know. Was she there for the conversation with Eren? Like, was she in the crystal listening to Eren be like, hey, I'm gonna go stomp over the world, I'll be back later. You guys want anything while I'm out? Like, was she there for that? I don't know. I don't know how she would be. She's inside Crystal. But again, it's Titan, so who knows, right? But yeah, I don't know. This episode really surprised me with the amount of, like, oh crap moments, right? Like for friggin', like when Shaddai shows up and he's like, let's go boys, I was like, yeah. Like there's a lot of like, yeah moments, but there's also a lot of like, damn, that caught me off guard, or damn, that hit me right in the feels. Like this was like a quintessential, like top tier, probably gonna be one of my favorite episodes of this half of the season, because this is like quintessential Attack on Titan, you know what I mean? Like this is how we like it. This butters it up right. This was fantastic. I loved this episode. But yeah, anyway, outro. And there you have it, everybody. That is gonna wrap it up for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and set notifications to all. Let all of AnyTube know that you are here. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out our Discord so that you can actually be notified when new videos go up. And of course, you'll also be notified when we're streaming over on the other website that starts with a T. On top of being the best way to get notified for new videos, it's also a good place to discuss with fellow anime fans and stuff like that. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and join us over on the Discord, link down in the description. Also linked to the description is our Patreon page, and that, along with the join button right beside the sub button, are great ways to help keep this channel afloat. You will find our Patreon page for as little as $1. You can help keep this channel running. And of course, a big thank you I have to give to our masters of masters, the true legends: Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, JCran23, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorans, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trapmaster, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all so much for being so freaking cool. I really love and appreciate all of you guys for your tremendous support of this channel. And if you too would like to have your name shouted out at the end of videos, once again, go check out that Patreon link in the description, or hit the join button right beside the sub button. Either way helps out a ton. And that's it for me. So until next time, clean your room. Just trust me, a clean room is a clean mind. Maybe do some Tai Chi. You know, drink lots of water and brush your teeth. And yeah, have a good day. Bye.